What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Jump Dropper Sports. I'm your host, Sean T. Stewart, back here with my dog, Ace Boogie in the cut, man. Yeah. How
Hey,
you-
listen. It's a different little setup. I don't know where my wife tossed my damn laptop at, but we just trapping off the iPhone, for now for the day. But yeah, man. And Brad, before we jump into it, bro, I gotta ask you, man, how you feeling about game 2 last night? The time of this recording, how you feeling about game 2, bro?
So, game two looked about. It looked if you watch those games, they looked about identical in terms of how those games played out for the first three quarters. It's just how the fourth quarter played out and the difference between game one and two. You started to see that when OKC's hitting shots, when their best guys are hitting shots, like Chet Holmgren had his impact early and often. There was no drop off, there was no disappearing act with Chet Holmgren. Even J Dub, you saw him play with a bit more aggression. Still hasn't had a great shooting performance yet, but you start to see your role guys, Alex Caruso for the second game in a row. He's been lights out. Then you start to see was it Wiggins. Wiggins also starts to pick it up some, and that lift they got from that bench unit definitely gave them the boost that they needed to get that dub in game two over the Indiana Pacers. That was about how I expected things to go, but give credit to Indiana, they did exactly what they needed to do on that trip. You go split those first two games, get it back to Indiana. You know what I'm saying? Tied up 1-1. Game three, ball is in your court. I expect the Indiana Pacers to shoot the lights out the ball. They totally wrecked my expectations for this series. Because remember, I said it was going 5. That thing's going 7 now. I have it going 7. Them winning game one changed everything. I believe that their role players are due for a big game. I believe Tyrese is due for a big game, which is why you on my parlay slip, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, come through for me. Yeah, I think so far, man, this series, obviously game one went totally left from where I thought it was. Game two was a much more of what I expected. You still see that OKC's defensive pressure creates offense for them. There wasn't a whole lot of whereas like in game one, they were forcing Indiana to turn the ball over at an alarming rate. Game two, they didn't force turnovers. They just forced stops. And they turned those stops into fast break points. And that's how they're typically able to create their offense. And that's what's made them the best team in the NBA all season. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to be. I think Indiana's coming up on a night where they're going to shoot the lights out the basketball. So we'll see how everybody handles that when the time comes.
Yeah, man. Same here. I think Halliburton was on my parlay slip last night as well, man. I was getting kind of nervous 'cause I was like, damn, man, my man can't hit 4 layups. Like I'm just, his prop on Prize Pick, which this should have been free, man, was 3 2-pointers made, and I'm just thinking to myself like, surely Halliburton can get that done, man. He ain't cashed it until like I think the fourth quarter, so I think he just had like a second half surge he tried to get there going on, trying to get the Pacers back into the game. um, Kudos to the Thunder for not letting the Pacers get back into the game though as well. They had a control lead, which is what you got to do with a young and feisty team like the Pacers, man. You got to make sure you got to keep them in check, you know. And that's what makes championships. Game 3 going back to Indiana, that should be a favorite for the Pacers. Honestly, man, that crowd is gonna be rocking. They're gonna try to get in the Thunder's head. Will SGA fold under pressure? Will all the other guys fold under pressure, man? Because both of these teams are very young, man. Like this is gonna be, this is a different type of experience, this type of feel. So I'm gonna say something bold for Game 3, bro. I think it's gonna be more defensive matchup. I don't think it's gonna be like lights out the board. Like I really think this really gonna be like a 97-92 type of finish, man. I think that's really it's gonna be that type of feel, dog. Like it's because it's gonna be a statement game. Cause
Yeah.
watch, you go down, you lose. Thunder is pressure, man. You lose this, you're down 2-1 now. You know, I'm like, man,
Pressure.
hey,
It's pressure.
gotta get,
Look,
yeah,
I was about to say for the Thunder, your best bet is to go ahead and get game three and probably go ahead and lose game four. Because you're not sweeping Indiana at home. I just don't see that happening. I didn't even have them in the sweep when I initially picked it. My pick was they win the first two, you lose game three. I always had you losing game three, and then you would win game 4 and 5, finish out at home. But now since things have changed now. You know what I'm saying? So,
Look, man. But in the day, at the end of the day, man, I think that this is gonna be a statement game. Um, I give it to you. I think I got the Thunder. I think I got the Thunder winning game three. The Thunder winning game three, and then Pacers gonna lock it up at game four. Yeah, the Thunder gonna win game three. It's gonna be a stunner there. It's gonna be a stunner. I know. I know. Listen, you got look. They on the roll, man. They on the roll. SGA, man, he's gonna lead that brigade. He's gonna lead that charge. He's gonna tell them, all these young guys, hey, you got to block out all these noise here. This is gonna be a rowdy crowd.
yeah.
This is what championships and teams are made of. So that's why it'll catch them off guard here. I think they will definitely take game three here, but the series is going to end up being tied game four before they go back on the road game five back at OKC. That's just my thoughts there. Like, you know,
Look, man. I guess my overall thought for the series is that, man, I do trust SGA as a leader. I think of all the young guys that are in the league now that we're looking at to be the next guy, I think he's the most trustworthy I've seen as a leader because he keeps the same. I don't see him get too off kilter much. His game, the way he plays his game, the way he talks in interviews, he's always moving at his pace. Similar to James Harden in terms of how he plays in the sense of you're never gonna speed him up out of his game. But a bit different in that I think his game is stronger. It's definitely better suited for the playoffs. Like we've obviously never seen James Harden get to this point as a de facto number one option and still be able to play with that same level of consistency that he played with in the regular season. But you look at Shea, dog, he dropped 38 in game one and 34 in game two. As far as consistency, I know what I'm getting from him every single night. On the flip side, though, I look at Indiana, I look at Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, we know he's more of a throwback guy. We know he's not the points. You can't necessarily judge him off of points, but there's a lack of aggression with Tyrese Halliburton that I don't like in these first two games. And now obviously, game one everything worked out, but you still didn't have that level of aggression that I wanted to see even in game one for the majority of it. You didn't go kill in that game. You got the last shot and you hit it. Kudos to you, but for pretty much 47 minutes and 51 seconds, you didn't do that. You didn't play with that level of aggression. So that's what I expect to see out of him in game three, especially being back at home. I expect to see guys like Nembhard have a great day. That's who I'm probably banking on to have like a stellar performance. Guys like Nembhard, Neesmith, Mathurin, all those types of cats like McConnell, all those guys are gonna have a day, and it's gonna feel like an avalanche. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like it's gonna feel like that old Golden State type of avalanche. Like you know when those guys used to get it going, like it's gonna be one of those. But for Tyrese Halliburton, man, if we put you in a superstar class, hey, this is a test for you. Show us because we literally just put you in that class. And this was kind of why I was a little apprehensive going in. I'm like, I want to give it to you, but you still do some things from time to time that I'm like, that's not Because if I'm looking at a guy like CP would have went and tried to go kill still. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if, you got to do a little bit more for me, dog. Especially when guys like Pascal Siakam are hitting shots. When Pascal, who I think is probably your best all-around scorer on that team, isn't making shots, you got to go kill. Why is that? It's a question of whether you're going to do that or not. Like, even if you're not hitting shots, you got to go do it. Like you said, I think the one thing I see from SGA is that there's always a willingness from him to shoot the ball no matter what, whether it's falling or not, he's going to shoot. In game one, he had 38 points on 30 shots. That's not efficient, but I can appreciate that you ain't going to never take your foot off the pedal. Game two, he got 34 points on 21 shots. Much more efficient, much cleaner game, but got a better game from his other guys. But the main constant is always him. And if you're Tyrese Halliburton, I know this isn't your natural game. It isn't your natural game to go kill and go be the scorer. But there are ways for you to show levels of aggression that aren't even indicated by just scoring that you got to do. You got to play with a little bit more force to your game. So maybe he can. Maybe that OKC defense is causing that many problems. And I know you brought it up last night. I'm being a little long-winded here, but the one issue that I think Indiana's gonna have all series is that when OKC gets them in those half-court sets and they gotta run their offense, that's when you start to see the holes in Indiana's game. Tyrese and the rest of that team as well. They're made to run and gun. If they can't get up and down and run on you, then they start to struggle.
Correct. Correct, and I feel what you're coming from with the you want to see more out of Halliburton because I mean I feel like what some may say he was snubbed out of the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. You know, now that shouldn't matter to him because there's another MVP he should be gunning for, and you know if he plays cards right, if he bring out that aggression, he should be able to hoist that up along with another trophy as well. But um, man, um, who knows? We'll see. I mean, we honestly we just gotta wait and see what they'll bring. I just think I feel like the Thunder may got them figured out. Maybe I don't want to say. I just don't want to. I don't want to say it too much. I want them to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Game three. I really want the Pacers to prove me wrong. Game three because I feel like with this game, game two, I feel like they just had everything figured out. It was able to slow them down. Able to like again, like I said, set the tone and not let them come back. Because I feel like Pacers is a team that just come back on you if you're not prepared if you caught lacking. You know.
Look, crazy enough, watching that entire game too yesterday, I never thought it was over. Like I never for once
It's
felt
yeah.
like I never
Yeah.
thought it was even with them being down 20. I'm like, well, be careful because they can. Because I think at one point this may have been like in the first half, they were down 23, and then they reeled off 10 quick points, like just like at the drop of a hat. So you never can count them out. Last thing I'll say about this series though, before we move on, Chet Chet Holmgren is the pivotal key for OKC. When he's aggressive, when he's scoring, when he's active early in games, they're a better team. That double big lineup with him and Hartenstein
Next
changed
time, yeah.
everything because in game one, getting out rebounded by Indiana, who's been piss poor as a rebounding team all playoffs, crazy. That double big lineup with Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren changes everything, takes away a lot of the athleticism and what Indiana likes to do in terms of running because these are two athletic bigs in Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. Uh, J Dub as well. J Dub to me has not played well. Not played well. I've seen a
In a
regression.
while, yeah, in a while. Like
Yeah,
usually when he on point, but like yeah, he just been on a little bit of a cold streak. Yeah.
yeah. I just need to see. I'm like for him. The jumpers aren't falling. They didn't even fall at home. I have a hard time thinking they're gonna fall on the road. He worries me a lot. If he doesn't bring it, then it's gonna be up to SGA to win this series by himself. He's
Correct.
got to bring it. I mean, you're a guy, you're an all star. You got to play up to that level. This series so far, I've been disappointed in his performance. He's got a chance to turn it around in Game 3, but it's typically hard for guys to turn things around on the road. It would be if he can make himself legendary. If he can have a signature performance on the road here in a tough environment when you really need to get a win. He can make a mark for himself. But those are just my final thoughts on that. On the OKC Indiana final series as before we move on. But we can sticking with basketball. We never touched on Tom Thibodeau for the New York Knicks being fired after getting his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that was their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, I believe. Could be
Mm.
wrong, but the New York Knicks moved on. They will be moving on, and then there also have been rumors about them potentially making a trade splash for Giannis, or Kevin Durant. So far,
Mm.
I mean, just early thoughts. What do you think about the Thibs fire?
I feel like the NBA is like the only. I think it's rare you'll see the NFL and other sports as well, but like I feel like it's a weird habit that the NBA they fire coaches that are like doing good. Like you typically want to keep that coach around, you know. Like what shot you? I forgot the coach's name, but you remember the old Raptors head coach?
Oh,
They fired him. Yeah, they fired him, and then a couple weeks later, he won head coach of the year,
yeah, Dwayne Casey. Yeah,
Dwayne Casey. Weird. Like I never seen nothing like it. I'm like I'm shocked. Like, hey, you win coach of the year, but you got fired beforehand. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
feel like the NBA is the only one to do that. But I mean, not saying Thibodeau was like on that same caliber or whatever, everything like that. But I mean, I think Knicks is looking for looking for a shakeup, just looking for something different, a different route. You got the talent there. I feel like they shouldn't trade or haul away no players or anything. If anything, add. Um, I'm not too familiar on how you build draft capital too well with NBA teams as well. But I
And they're pretty
go
much
ahead.
shot based off the trades they made to get Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns. They have zero draft capital, so they there isn't much movement they can make to attain the draft capital that they're looking for. Because I don't believe, first of all, I don't believe anybody else would trade the type of capital they traded to get Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. So I think a couple of, I won't say, I won't call these bad trades. They're bad trades for your future, for sure. You definitely
Mm.
sold it in order to win now. But I don't think there's a real route for them to get any draft capital back.
So do you have to bank on free agency and yeah,
So
you must like got to bank on free agency, right?
you're going to be banking on free agency. I think also you got to recognize that your roster isn't too far away. And I'm not going to lie, with Boston, unfortunately, with Jason Tatum going down, this is an open year in the Eastern Conference. If I had to bet on anybody, I would say New York will probably be back in the conference finals next year, just based on how just based on how everything shakes out. Now, other teams will get better. We'll see younger guys take larger roles in other cities, and we'll see how those things shake out. But based on what I see, they have the roster that can get them back there. I think obviously having Jalen Brunson as your number one option, Karl Anthony Towns to me is your number two. Then
Mm.
having role players like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, those types of guys. That's if I tell you that's your core group of guys, that's good enough to get you to a conference finals again and possibly to a finals. Because even if I look at how you play in that Indiana series, I think New York outplayed the Knicks for the majority of that series. Crazy enough, for a team that lost, I think New York outplayed Indiana, but Indiana just obviously has more depth. They have a system that worked that they
Mm-hmm.
better for them, which I bring this point back to Thibs. Thibs and his usage of players, wearing them down to the ground. I mean, I think there were going to be concerns about Jalen Brunson going the same way of Derrick Rose in terms of just his overall usage, and that's a lot to put on one guy. And then you look at
Right.
even how offenses were ran. It was predicated upon Jalen Brunson creating and deciphering everything for that offense, and it didn't have any sort of flow to it when Jalen Brunson was on the floor even with Karl Anthony Towns. You had relegated Karl Anthony Towns to just sitting over in the corner, which he is
Right.
capable of that. But we saw once he got the opportunity to, his game was much more expansive than just sitting in the corner and shooting threes. So I think the next thing for them is finding a coach that can help them elevate that offensive system and bring it to the forefront. For Thibs, I mean, until he learns to get, I think that was it for him. I think this is the last. I think that's the last opportunity he was going to get at being a head coach in the NBA, because he hasn't learned from any of the previous stops. He hasn't learned to let assistants do their job. He hasn't learned to play through a system instead of funneling things through one player. He hasn't learned through all these trials and errors and these failures, and which is why going into the playoffs in general, I'm not banking on a Tom Thibodeau team to win anything. Now, they did more than what I expected, and kudos to him for that. But still, the overall point is you have not grown as a coach, even though you are a good coach and your system does work. You still haven't grown enough to where people feel like we can keep moving forward with you. You know what I'm saying? For New York to feel this way, they had to have seen that, hey, he's just not going to change. It's just not going to happen. So I mean, if he's not willing to change, then we gotta move forward. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, man, it's just a game of the business, man. Really, nothing personal. But one thing is how important is that they. Okay, what you think is like the Knicks' value? Like, like you understand, like the Lakers' job, the Lakers' head coaching job last year. I think was the prestige in that. Like, how much prestige do you think the Knicks' head coaching position holds? How much weight?
I think it holds a significant amount of weight, mainly because it's in New York, not because it's the
Right.
Knicks themselves. The Knicks themselves they've been a bottom feeder franchise since I've been watching basketball. I've never known the Knicks to be a great franchise. People tell me what they should be, but I've never seen them be anything other than like some a BBL ass, just paid for ass, overpaid ass. You know what I'm saying? All I've ever seen the Knicks be in my lifetime. But it is a prestigious job because of the market. And because of if you are successful in that position, the where it climbs you up a ladder of media notoriety, notoriety amongst coaches like people like if you're the coach that gets the Knicks NBA Finals, you're gonna be held in such high regard and you're gonna be etched in stone in history. If you win an NBA title for the Indiana Pacers, you're just a coach that won an NBA title for the Indiana Pacers. People don't really care out of the state of Indiana about what happens there, but New York is a global brand in every sense of the word. So winning for that franchise does mean something. It does hold some type of prestige, quote unquote, in a sense.
Uh, I was just wondering, man, 'cause I think New York is just not gonna go after, any old coach, uh, not to bring, you don't want to bring in no BS, man. When you're trying to, so like, is this more so like, would you consider this like a retool
Definitely a re-
or retool?
Definitely a retool. I think the best thing they could do is that roster is good enough. If you're a coach and you tell me you can't work with this roster, I don't think you're a good coach. Now, I just don't think you need to gut. I don't think you need to gut this roster to try to go bring in a star.
No point. Yeah.
There's no point because you'll be back. You'll be back to square one. And I seen Phoenix do this. Phoenix did this. Phoenix did something very stupid and very similar to this, where they gutted their entire team in hopes of getting a superstar that it cost entirely too much to get. And at this point in their career, and I'm talking about Kevin Durant, and at this point in their career, they're not worth the haul you're about to give up. I know it's Kevin Durant. I know how great he is, but he ain't 26 no more. He don't move the same way. Even though he's still a top 10 scorer, top 5 scorer in the league, he doesn't move the same way. He cannot do the same things he used to do, and he can't give you the amount of games and the amount of minutes that he used to as well. So it's like, why? So don't gut your team for that. Don't gut it for Giannis. Don't gut it for KD. Don't gut it for anybody. You need to focus on, hey, let's focus on making this group better. Let's add some pieces. Let's maybe let's add some pieces here and there if we can afford to, and let's run it back one more time. I think you saw some flashes of what you can be. I think a good offensive minded head coach. If you can't work with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, then I don't know what.
And what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
What we're doing here.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't think they need much, man. I don't think New York is that far away. I don't even necessarily think the move to fire Thibs was even a bad move. I think it's part of the course for the NBA, and it is tough to watch coaches that are successful get fired. But it's when you start thinking about what they're looking for, what that coach doesn't do historically, then it's not so crazy. You know what I'm saying? When you start thinking about like, hey, this guy never is able to coach an offensive system that is free flowing and operates without being predicated on one guy, then it's not so crazy to say that, we probably should move on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's still a tough league though. It's still tough, and the NBA's got to be the toughest job for head coaches. Yeah. I wouldn't even want to be a head coach in the NBA at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting fired for being the hell. I mean, once I saw Dwayne Casey get fired after being, head coach of the year, I just like, man, what else can you do? And it's the Raptors at that. And I think just like a couple years after he won with Kawhi, he won a ring with Kawhi.
Triple. Well, so Nick Nurse is the coach that won with Kawhi and got fired.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Okay. But that's happened twice in their history though. It's happened. Dwayne Casey did win Coach of the Year and got fired in the same season that he won Coach of the Year. Nick Nurse also did this, but got fired like a few years down the line. You know what I'm saying? But still similar in the sense that like, damn dog, like y'all don't nobody sticks it out with coaches anymore. Like no, like I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's wild, and I hate to throw in my Spurs, but I'm like, I even said, bro, Popovich was long overdue. Like
you did, you were early on this.
Long, like very overdue on this. Now I hate that it took for his health to get bad for us to like basically say, hey, we gotta, cut ties with you, because that's basically what it was. It's
yeah, that's
talk space right here, man. Like but yeah, man, that's just a rant for another day. But yeah, kudos to the Knicks. I think they're gonna make the right move, and of course they're gonna be in the Eastern Conference Finals conversation for like the rest of the few years. Honestly, I think it's gonna be them and the Celtics for sure.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I guess we can move on to some football stuff, man. You know,
Ah, yeah,
our boy, man, he's been in the headlines all off season.
yeah,
He's been in the headlines as of recent for his
yeah.
latest appearance in a music video with Glorilla.
Hmm.
That this definitely has the people buzzing. That has the people talking. Um,
Yeah, the Falcons fans, Falcons. That's all I'm saying. Falcons fans talking about it.
them boys, man. I look,
Yeah,
I get it, bro. My number one, if my number one wide receiver was Drake London, bro, I try to find some entertainment elsewhere too, bro. You know what I'm
I know,
saying?
man.
Face to
Southern Cal wide receiver, man. I get it. Southern
get,
Cal.
bro. You feel
I
me,
get
bro?
it.
Got to run
I
around
get
with
it.
Darnell Mooney as my wide receiver too, bro. Come on, bro. No aura,
I
no
get it.
pizzazz, nothing, bro.
No motion. No
No,
motion down there in Atlanta, man. No
no motion
motion, dog.
boys, bro. Damn, bro.
No motion, no hope. Man, free Bijan, man. I'm gonna get the free Bijan jersey now. You might as well get out the way now. Free
Ah,
Bijan.
man, got
You know,
28-year-old rookie quarterbacks out there. And shit. Man, come on, bro. Boys, man.
you know what I'm saying? Both knees on outstanding
Come on,
watch.
bro.
Both of these.
Boy, man,
You
boy,
know.
graduate being able to rent a car, man. I ain't trying to hear
You
that.
feel me? Like, I'm like, didn't when that quarterback started, man, I was like 2 years out of high school, man. It's crazy. He just now getting on his rookie year. Man, shout out to the brother. I mean, he a black quarterback. I was gonna remove from my brothers. Not when you play us, but
Yeah.
I'm rooting for my
Hey,
brothers
look, man.
always.
As y'all can see, bro, this is all troll behavior, man. Like I said, shout out Michael Penix, bro. I ain't got no issue with you, big dog. F the
No
Falcons though.
issue.
You hear me? Now that's real. F y'all boys. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
All
If I
day.
could throw him up on YouTube without getting flagged, I would, man. But
All
Xavier
day.
Legette, he's had quite the off season, man. He's been everywhere. He's done everything. I mean, the NFL had him out at the Kentucky Derby. He's just been very active. It's been a very active all season for him, man. And I mean, it raises questions of do you believe that he's been, let's say, overly distracted this offseason going into his second year in the league?
Come on now, brother. Come on now.
I gotta ask you, and this ain't coming from me as far as like what I really think. This is just trying to be provocative, man. You know how it goes.
Man, if I encourage everybody to do their research if you have the time. If not, I mean, you can go by the vibes. You can just play along with the crowd, the train. I mean, that's what majority of what his haters do anyway. Just follow each other. But do some research. Look up Xavier Legette's work ethic and how literally Shane Beamer had to go into the facility and open up the facility for him. That's just like, man, I feel like going on the story mode here. Like I remember,
What's yours, man?
okay, man. Listen. I remember back in what was it, 2023, spring game. Was it 23? 23 spring game, yeah. Um, I saw Xavier Legette, saw Rattler, and I just saw Legette. I'm like, dang man. I was telling my boy DB on Twitter at the time. I was saying, hey man, am I tripping? Or they sound kind of like he giving me DK Metcalf vibes, like he. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it fool you, bro. Bro was putting some time in the gym. And there was a time where I thought Excel was gonna cut it. Like you remember 2022 when we played the Bulldogs and the ball bounced off his helmet and INT, and I was like, look, man, what's going on, bro? You been here for like 3 years now. Come on now, minus Kobe and stuff like that. But this man went from undrafted to a first round pick all in 1 year. And with that being said, he had his flaws. He had his flaws his rookie year, and it was very frustrating. Even me, even I can say it like this. I'm not being a homer or nothing like that. I think I'm not gonna call his rookie year a disappointment because he is playing the sport. He's doing something that none of us is doing right now. We don't know what his shoes is. We don't know how he feel or what he's gonna do at the time. But I will say that it could have been better. It could have been way better. I mean, he could have, you know. But at the same time, for us Panthers fans, we got to remember that we did have a wide receiver by the one named Kelvin Benjamin that had 1,000 yards rookie season. Then what happened after that? Now, granted, it's documented of what was going on with Kelvin Benjamin, with the eating disorder and everything like that. It's proof.
Yep.
Watch Flimlo Raps on Kelvin Benjamin. It's very, very information, man. I love Flimlo Raps. Shout
Shout
out
out
to him, man. Yeah. Watch Flimmo Rap's video. It'll really change your tone or how you feel about Kelvin Benjamin. But anyway, besides the point is, I don't think I think bro is having fun. I think he's putting that rookie season behind him with the drop issues like that, and he's gonna have fun with it. And that's the best time. And that's what you want with a player, man. That's having fun. You know. Now, granted, it's a lot on the line here, a lot on this play because the Panthers went out and got Tech. Well, T Mac. Now, tell how you want to feel. Hey, they could have been a business move, or it could have been like, hey, Dave Canella see some excel. Let's put some on the other side of him. You know, and I think that can open up the window for him because I think teams is going to be focused on T Mac, and that should be with Xavier's route running. He should have no issues getting open at all with his route running, his speed. He has no issues getting open because he ain't had no issues with that last year. I mean, you can check the stats, check the graphs, check all of that. Excel didn't have no issue with none of that. So I think that he's not distracted. I think he's just having fun right now. He's embracing who he is, a country guy, from Timbuktu, South Carolina, Mullen, South Carolina, and you can look all through Facebook, all through the black community. Trail Wise is going up a storm, man. Like it's marketing.
Yeah,
Excel is a marketing. He's in the market right now because Trail Wise is on the rise right now.
yeah.
And so he has a chance to be. I think he really has a chance to be not the face of. I wouldn't say the face of the wide receivers in the NFL, but I just think that he could be he is on his way of having a household name. If he do put the work on the field, he can
Yeah.
have a household name in the NFL. That's just me. That's just
Yeah.
my thought.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, man. I don't believe anything about him being distracted and whatnot. He isn't a guy that does things for social media in the sense of that. Like, I don't think we need to see him training. I think if he's locked in the way the coaches say he's locked in, and the way the people in the building say he's locked in, because apparently he's been in the facility all summer. You feel me? So it's been one of those days where I'm like, bro, like he's clearly putting in the work. The coaches know he's putting in the work. They feel confident in him. But here's the thing: I'm not mad at a guy for taking advantage of some of the opportunities that he's getting. I mean, man, that man is from Mullen, South Carolina, dog. And if just being from South Carolina in general, like I don't know if y'all boys understand this, but like there ain't much here, bro. Like outside of outside of Greenville and outside of Columbia and outside of Charleston, there isn't much here. Like all these other places. I'm from the other places in South Carolina. I get why you take those opportunities because, like, bro, from where we from, you don't get an opportunity to just be out in front of millions of people and be marketed out in front of everybody like that, where you could possibly create an avenue for yourself long term. As long as you keep the main thing. Like it's gonna happen at some point anyway. You got to keep the main thing. Now I will say there is pressure on him to perform because we ain't gonna sugarcoat it with him. You do all of these things in the off season. You go to the Kentucky Derby. You in music videos with Glorilla. You doing all of these things. We're seeing you out in the forefront. It needs to show up on the field because you right now you the heartthrob of Facebook. You know what I'm saying, with the aunties. They love you. You know what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody loves you right now, and that's cool. But obviously, we do know that you got to back that up on the field. Like we got to see something. Now I'm not, and here's the thing. And I've told you we've had private conversations about it. I'm not worried. I wasn't worried at the end of last year. I wasn't worried at the start of the off season, and I'm not worried today. I trust in who I believe he is as an individual. I trust who I believe I've seen in him as a player. If he improves upon the things that we've seen, obviously we know he didn't maximize his rookie year to the fullest of his capabilities. But there's still room to grow. We knew there was room to grow within his game, even coming out of college. So no harm, no foul there. Clean some things up, and I think we're talking about a guy that's going to potentially be a 1,000-yard receiver that can be a 1,000 receiver each year of his career. I think him and Nalo can have a great start to both of their careers. Yes, I think this team is going to elevate behind them, man. I think everything's headed in the right direction. I'm just not truly worried, man. I don't. I mean, we see things like this happen all the time, man. Like eventually eventually people want to come talk to you. People want to come work with you. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd be a fool to pass up these opportunities.
Yeah, and like I said, I think he's just gonna be a guy that's just gonna have fun with the game he loves. You know what I'm saying? And there's been times in the Panthers fan base that he doesn't love football because he loves his horses or whatever. But I have to disagree here. I have to disagree. All because he don't live stream his workouts, or not because I feel like it's showing. I mean, if you're looking at I agree, it's practice. So we got to get our AI on. It's practice. It's practice. It's practice. So hopefully we got what we got training camp in a couple weeks. Tease. We got
Yep.
training camp in a couple weeks. Yeah. So I mean, I think fans are not allowed to be there, but
No.
unfortunately, okay.
Won't be
I mean,
there-
clips.
won't be there for this year or next year. By the way, that's
Wow, that's
yeah.
lame. That's lame as hell. Wow, David. But anyway, um, wow, David. Okay. Well, we definitely gonna catch some games this year. Um, Matter of fact, let me ask you this right now.
Okay.
What is your stat predictions for Excel year two? I'll
X two. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm going about. Well, he ended up with about like 40 receptions last year for like what, for like 400 some yards. I'm about to look this up.
um
I'm about to look
Yeah,
this up.
because we got to keep in mind. We got to keep in mind, man. He was limited at first. And we knew he was a project. Like he wasn't out the gate like wide receiver one or nothing like that. But he got forced to play a role because Tay Johnson did what he did, and I feel
Yeah.
like they just ruined plans. Cause he was off. He was off to the right track. Then he got hurt in the Saints game, and he just kind of wasn't himself after that. He just has no issue getting open. It's just I don't know what it. I don't get it.
Sorry. So last year he had 49 receptions on 84 targets. I expect the targets number to be up in the hundreds this year.
Got to. Has
Like,
to.
gonna be up in the hundreds. Now, if he's improved as a pass catcher, I need him to go from 49 receptions. We need to be somewhere in the 70s. We gotta be somewhere in the 70s. And with that being the case, I'd say about let's say 72. Let's say 71 receptions. We need to get to about 497 yards last year. Get that. I think we can get that with 30 plus more catches. Well, that'll be about from 49. That'll be about 20 something more catches. I think we're talking about being in that 800 to 900 receiving yard range, and I say about 7 touchdowns. So 71 receptions. Let's say somewhere between 8 to 900 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. I
That's a year two jump for me with him, like based on how things finished up last year.
yeah, I'll say about at least 75 receptions. 75 receptions. Give me 900 about 950 receiving yards. You give about 6 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I want to see Dollar Bill a lot more. I feel like he's good in the red zone. He's real good in the red zone.
and I think we're gonna
Um,
be better in the red zone this year. Now we're adding T Mac into that mix as well. Like that being what he is the best at. Like he was the best in college football at that for the past couple of seasons, not even just last year. So I think
exactly.
adding to the mix, man. Oh,
We need to.
I think you got a 2-headed monster down there. I believe, man. Like truly.
I want to see more rack out of XL. Run out the catch. I want to see more of that. Like I feel like we didn't do enough like screens with him, or like just enough design gadget plays. Like I'm not trying to turn him and not trying to turn him necessarily to Debo Samuel, nothing like that, because he can run route. I mean, Debo can run routes too. I feel like
Debo's
folks need to
like,
cut it.
but here's the thing though, Debo and that Debo's always been that guy. Like that's always been Debo's game from high school.
Hmm.
That's always been his game. He's always been more like running back. He's always been running back esque after he catches the ball, which is why his yards after catch is so insane. That's
It's
where he does
amazing. Yeah.
most of his damage. XL, it's a little bit tougher for XL. Only XL doesn't have nearly as quick of a start as Debo, so it's hard for me to see him getting those types of plays. He's more so of on the run. Once you get him going, he's like a locomotive. once he gets rolling, ain't no stopping this. If you get him
Yeah.
going one way, give him a lane going one way, he's gone. He's out of there. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
gonna take off. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe a lot of XLs run out to catch things that we didn't see were really based off of some technique things on his part. Like when you struggle to catch the rock, you don't really get to run after the catch because you're so
He's
focused on
trying
the
to
process.
secure it in.
So if he improves the things that we've talked about, which is simply catching the football, I do think that everything else then piles on, and you may start to see the numbers that we just said, which I think are modest for a guy that showed what he showed in year one. He could potentially hit the over on everything. It wouldn't surprise me if he hit 80 catches. It wouldn't surprise me if he hit 1,000 yards. It wouldn't surprise me if he hit 9 to 10 tutties. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we see the improvements that we think we're going to see from him from year one to year two, I mean, the numbers that we spat out, I like those numbers for Nalo in his first year.
I say, man, he just need to continue to shadow Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen's amazing. Adam Thielen's an amazing guy for both Nalo and XL to shadow because he's not. Adam like I'm not the fastest,
Nope.
but I can get open.
Yeah.
I can get reliable. I can show you what to do. How I think I think he's a very clutch guy. For both of
Definitely.
them to shadow, man. Very. So if I'm him, I'm absorbing every freaking thing that Dylan is doing out there on the field, learning his techniques. You know what I'm saying? Try to copy it, not try to copy his game, but make it better in your own form.
Yeah.
I think that's
Take bits and pieces, man. Adam Thielen, dog. I mean, he may be the greatest undrafted receiver of all time.
yeah, possibly. I mean, for him to go on his run, I mean, I think his best runs got to be it's Boyle. I mean, he had some great years, when his young years,
Great
like
years in Minnesota.
great
But like
years in Minnesota.
you
But like,
over the hill of 30 and you're still stacking seasons that are on par with your prime. You know what I'm saying?
you still got to be wide receiver one at 30. It's like with Jerry Rice. It's like with Jerry Rice in his later years and
Bro,
you still
it's
got to be asked and called upon to be clutch. I mean, which that should be a shame on, and hopefully T Mac or XL changes that, XL. But anyway, it will definitely, it's definitely going to happen, man. The change, wide receiver one is going to be there.
no, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. But I gotta show I just gotta show love the Thielen, man. As much as I be like, because look, I'll be honest, man. Have I been ready for bro to go? I've been ready for
Yeah.
I've been ready for bro to go. I said I've been waiting for somebody to take it from him. Who's
Did it
gonna
have it
take it?
happen?
And I'm like, honest to God, hey, bro, if
It
nobody
hasn't
gonna
happened.
take it, I gotta do it. And I'm like, you know what? Respect, bro. I got love for Adam Thielen, man, because like I said, bro, I think he may just be. I would have to go through a list of undrafted wide receivers, but he may very well be the greatest undrafted wide receiver of all time. It may not be close either. He's about to hit 10,000 yards.
Yeah, for
Like
his career. He's going to get it this year. He'll get it this year.
he'll get it this year
For
for
sure.
sure. But yeah, hopefully T Mac, Xavier Legette, brother. I'm putting this on YouTube short, so y'all gonna see it. It's gonna get in your algorithm. Take the mantle away from Adam Thielen. Take it from him. I'm tired of him having to continuously be our number one option, continuously be our safety net. Take it from him. Make having Adam Thielen a luxury, not a necessity.
Correct.
That's it on that. But we get some South Carolina stuff before we get up out of here. Yeah, hey, that boy Bean, boy. Hey, that boy throwing up the wrist. That boy cooking in the pot, bro. He in the kitchen, man. Y'all boys thought it was over with. We told y'all about them about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago, this movement was started by this brother here, A. Smith. He started this. So when y'all see it come to fruition, and you start to see these wins stack up, you start to see us go toe-to-toe with some of the best in the nation, some of the best in college football, and you start to see us come out on the winning side of those matchups. It's going to be because of one thing and one thing only, and that's the trenches. And that movement, the man behind the movement, man, he's right here.
Amen.
One of our very own. Come on now. Talk about it.
The Harris twins. The Harris twins committed to the University of South Carolina. Double trouble. You
Come
know,
on, now.
I don't want, Beam said, nah, I don't want just one, I want two.
I need both of you.
People thought that Dylan Stewart, like, folks like, Javion Clowney, Dylan Stewart. Do we want to throw Jordan Burch in there? Because Jordan Burch was a
He
very
was,
high rated.
he was highly touted, man. He was highly rated. He played well for us. I ain't knocking him.
I mean, you know what I'm saying, but Dylan Stewart just, he stepped in as a freshman and he saved the day against older men, you know, for us,
Bro,
say today. Say today against Clemson. A lot of people roll the clip. If it wasn't for Dylan Stewart creating that pressure, we would never got a chance to get that ball picked off, man. A lot of people not talking about it.
they were
Go ahead,
damn
brother.
good.
Yep, yep, you good.
That was damn good, man. I'm like, dog, when you talk about impact pass rushers, I he to me is a better pass rusher than what Clowney was in his freshman year. And I think Clowney is the most athletically gifted guy I've ever seen probably grace the football field. In the instinct, you clearly see this is the best player on the field, no matter whether he
Right.
has to or not. Dylan Stewart gives me that, but I get a sense of precision and I get a sense of polish to him that is unbecoming of a guy that's 18 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Crazy a guy with this array of pass rush moves to be able to go from speed to power, to be able to use his agility. Like, man, I don't know, bro. He to me shows me so many different things, and I mean he's only scratching the surface for where he's gonna be at.
Year two, man. It's like
You see he's gonna hopefully he stacks on top of that. But to talk about those Harris twins, man, you talk about two guys that add to the interior of this defense, especially after losing guys like Boogie Huntley, losing guys like Tonka, losing guys like T.J. Sanders. Like you lost a lot of guys, lost a lot of beef in the interior of that defensive front. You got to add it back. And what better way to add it back than adding Thomas Davis's nephews to the fold?
yeah.
What a great way!
Hey.
What a great way to do it. Thomas Davis Jr., you on the clock.
Look, man, you're not gonna find, listen to him, listen to him. Listen.
Come
I'm
on, like,
I'm not gonna call me nah, I'm
nah,
big bro.
nah,
We big bros here,
come on.
If you are you willing to learn Sandstorm? It's easy. It's not that hard, not that difficult,
Hey, look,
I
and
get it.
you know your daddy a bulldog, bro. You know your daddy a bulldog. He was great, but do you want your own legacy, your own name?
In the SEC, yeah,
Come on now.
in the SEC. It's all simple. You just gotta, it's never too late to tap that switch. You gotta, what your YNs like to do. Y'all like to tap switches or whatnot. So that's another switch you can tap. You can tap that switch to come on down to, good old Columbia, South Carolina, and learn Sandstorm, put on that garnet and black. You know what I'm saying? Where your wake up call is our battle cry.
You feel me?
That's that,
Talk to him.
it's Saturday in South Carolina. Are you ready to feel and hear that? Are you ready to feel the Willie B? This, hey, Bean, send us on your recruitment pitch. I promise you.
Come on, bro. We selling we selling ice to an Eskimo dog. We cold, man. We cold with it.
Listen,
Look, man.
but
Look, the
not
dog. Are
even
you ready
just
to
the
run?
Harris. But listen. It's not even just the Harris twins that's on the way, man. I don't know, man. It's a certain duck in the air, man. It's a certain duck that's flying around, man. That's trying to, land down the Willie
Is
B,
it?
bro.
Hey, hold on. Let me ask you something. Is it Donald Duck? Is that the duck?
I mean, that duck's kind of worth it. You feel me?
Is it?
It's
Is it Daffy Duck?
nah. I think it's Landon Duckworth.
Oh,
That's who's on the way. Hey, listen, one of the coldest, and this is the thing though. I just came. I was stationed in Alabama for some years, man. And this kid has make some noise down there in Alabama for what was wild is like the tie. I think Auburn. I know for a fact Auburn was in the picture. Auburn is trying their best to get in the mix with them, but Ole Miss is also in the mix. I just feel like he just both the Bama teams are tied up with some things. You got Kalen Russell at the Tide, and you got what's my man? What's my man name? He wanted to wear Cam Newton's jersey.
Was it do something? I can't remember his name. We
Deuce.
did
Oh,
it.
yeah. Deuce.
Dude,
Do something. Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ. That's gonna
This is
kill.
about to annoy me. Yeah, it's about to annoy me now. Now I
Yeah,
gotta know.
I gotta find it. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Hold on, because I can't. Deuce.
We
Uh,
technical break, y'all. Technical
Deuce night.
break.
Deuce night. That's
Deuce
what it was.
night. Deuce night.
Deuce night. That's what it
Okay.
was.
So,
Sorry.
all and this thing, Jackson, Auburn got Jackson Arnold, and then they also got Deuce Knight. Who
Right.
knows? Who knows he ready now? Who knows he ready when Jackson Arnold is a 1 year rental? Maybe, But for us to have Landon Duckworth, and then also for us to have Cutter Woods, and then also Aaron Nolan, no matter what Lenore Sellers, if what we all begging for, we all banging the table for, Lenore Sellers has a stout year,
Yeah.
killer year.
We won a
I mean,
Heisman campaign for him. We won a potential playoff berth for him, a potential SEC championship for him. We want all of those things for him. So if all those things happen, then he's out the door. You know.
correct. And I gotta ask you about Lenore's when we get past this, But it's like it's like we never I mean all my years after the post Spurrier era, like I never thought that we would be in this position what Shane Beamer is putting us in. And you gotta give him his flowers yet again. I feel like we give Bane Beam his flowers a lot on this show, but like not once am I excited for three quarterbacks once this one leave. You know,
Yeah.
after Connor Shaw left, we was like, dang, what if? What's
We've been the gulag until Spencer Rattler. Like it goes. Connor Shaw, I guess you can say Jay Bentley years counted for something. I give you those.
we're giving us flowers. Not
I'm
flowers.
gonna give
No,
him
we
his
ain't
flowers.
giving flowers, but we're gonna acknowledge. We're gonna
We'll
acknowledge.
acknowledge that he was a decent quarterback at the University of South Carolina. I cannot dismiss him completely. But
Correct.
but then from Bentley, then it goes Spencer Rattler. Now from Spencer Rattler, it started Beam's tenure to have a year where you had to start Zeb Nolan, Luke Doty, and DeCarrion Joyner to Spencer Rattler. Then from Spencer Rattler for 2 years to Lenore Sellers. That is a much smoother transition. Now, figuring out the quarterback position is typically where South Carolina tends to. That's when we start to find our stride. And you saw it in that game against Clemson. Dog, that game isn't won without Lenore Sellers out there at quarterback. It
At all.
just cannot be won without him. It's just
At all.
simple. Having stability at that position is how you win at every level of football, high school, college, pros. If you have a quarterback, if you keep one on deck, you'll never be without. You'll never go hungry if you got a quarterback in the room. And you talk about what he's done with the trenches. Okay, so I've attacked I've made sure my quarterback position is secure. I attacked the offensive line the past couple years. I'm attacking the D line. I made sure I got not one of the best. I got the best defensive player from his class in Dylan Stewart. The best. Write it down. And matter of fact, the best. I can't say the best player, unfortunately. Jeremiah Smith exists, so I can't say the best player. But I got the best defensive player in that class for sure. So let me follow it up and make sure that I replace all those OGs that we just lost. We gotta put
re-up. You gotta re-up.
And re-up. You know what I'm saying? And there's more on the way, man. Beam has done a great job of recruiting. He's catching his stride. I think figuring out the quarterback position is helping him and this team ascend. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's going to help this team ascend. I'm geeked up to see what Mike Shula and Lenore's got coming this year. Because obviously, and because it's not really a change. It's more so, it's still a continuation of what last year was.
Literally, yeah.
It's just
a revamp.
It's a revamp.
It's a semi revamp. I think the only thing Dow took over was just the passing because he always is he's known as a passing coordinator.
Yeah.
Those run plays, I'm trying to tell you, we're not lying. From day one, that was Shula. All those run designs were Shula.
This one right, the boy Ace, he called this.
Oh, to me.
I want to say, he called this. We won last year, and I mean, we knew it. By the time we got to A&M, we cleared. Well, really LSU. Honestly, we knew then what was going on.
That one, that power read, that QB power read run, that Norris took for 75 yards with ease. Man, listen.
Come on, dog. Yeah.
If he don't, but and that's why I gotta ask you this: how long do you think Beam is gonna have Shula on the staff for quite a long time? I don't think Shula will ever be a head coaching job. I don't think Shula will ever take a head coaching job again, considering how they did him at Bama. Unless they just pay good. Unless let Shula like have Lenoir
Somebody's
the
willing.
greatest on turf. Yeah.
If Shula puts together if Shula and Lenore put together a Heisman campaign, somebody's calling. There's no way you don't call. You'd be dumb not to call. You know what I'm saying? If the offers, what I think it would depend on the offer itself. Because I think Mike Shula isn't taking anything that's below an A tier. I don't believe at this stage of his career, like he's like I don't know if he wants to go to a program and have to build it from the ground up. I don't know. He's not a young aspiring coach anymore. He's an OG in this thing. So it's like, what does he want to do? Or is he comfortable with being the OC at South Carolina for a little bit? I believe. I mean, obviously for selfish reasons, I would like for him to stay for a few seasons at least, so we can have some consistency.
At least with Landon, see what he can do with Landon. Yeah.
At least,
Air.
Nolan, and all those guys. I would like to see him continuously grow with those guys. But yeah, man, that's tough because I really would need to know what does he desire. Okay, you know what? While we're here, then, all right. So since we're here, I'm gonna go look through Mike Shula's coaching history prior to him coming to Carolina. In terms of what was he doing before?
The last great? I think he was like the Bills QB coach or something like that.
So he was a senior assistant for the Buffalo Bills. Before that, in 2020. Okay, so we can go through it. So we'll just start from the Panthers, right? From the Panthers, offensive coordinator from 2013 to 17. New York Giants offensive coordinator, QB coach from 18 to 19. Broncos QB coach from 2020 to 21. Buffalo Bills senior offensive assistant from 22 to 23. South Carolina offensive assistant 4 and offensive coordinator now in 2025 for the South Carolina Gamecocks. So so I don't know if it seems like he's not so geeked to get back into a head coaching gig. You gotta remember his last head coaching gig was 03 to 06 with Alabama.
With Alabama. Before Saban.
Yeah, we're talking about 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been a QB coach in OC every step of the way since. Does he want to keep going and elevate from that? I don't believe he'll be leaving after this year. I think no matter what happens after this year, I think he'll stay put. I think in the following years, if there is continued success, then you'll start to see maybe him move forward. I think Beam's gonna make a push to try to keep him. I think the only way that they'll separate is if there's a job that's just too damn good to pass up. And what is that job? And I mean, we really don't know. You think about it. I mean, Southern Cal could open up. To be honest, if Lincoln Riley continues to struggle at USC or the other USC, that's a potential job opening. I don't know if Mike Shula will be the guy they're looking for, but
or Florida State or
here's another one.
Florida State, yeah, that's oh, man.
That makes a lot.
That's crazy. Yeah, Shula would be crazy to turn that down. I ain't gonna hold you.
He would go. I think that probably feels like his bread and butter right there. If you go to Florida State, and I think he could do good work there. If being completely honest.
Yeah. I mean, learn from his mistakes at Alabama. They just had. I mean, it sucks. You got like one of the greatest coaches of all time breathing down your neck. Saban. Like they, no matter what, they figured, Saban didn't like it at Miami at the time, and so they was like, hey, no matter what you do, we got Saban on the way. So
nobody made the wrong choice here. That's me. Nobody made a bad choice. So it's like it is what it is.
Right. Yeah. Damn, we got 1 minute. I want to ask before we get up out of here.
All right.
Are you buying the NFL draft, potential NFL draft hype with Lenoir Sellers? Because there's articles out there that potentially got him at the number 1 overall. I sent it to you as well. How you feeling?
Do I realistically think Lenoir to go number 1? No. I think he has the talent to? Yes. I think
it's gonna be Arch. It'll be Arch.
If him and Arch Manning have comparable seasons and they're close, Arch Manning's getting the edge.
Off name.
all that. I'm not going through the whole draft process of all these months to be bamboozled and fooled into thinking, oh, you're going to give Lenore Sellers the number one. Like, you're not doing that. You're taking Archman. I know what's going to happen. Do I believe it, though? Do I believe in it? I do, but I'll say this, though. Lenore has a lot of work to do if he ever wants to live up to that type of hype. If he wants to win the Heisman, be picked number one overall, he's got work to do as a quarterback that is paramount to his development moving forward. Right now, a lot of what we see from him is him and his ability to create with his legs, scramble, and run. I need to see you as a quarterback stand in the pocket, deliver the football consistently. The running ability needs to be a luxury, not a necessity. We get what you are, brother. You know what I'm saying? We need to see you as a quarterback elevate, because as a quarterback right now, based off where he was last year, no, he's not ready for that. Not ready in the slightest.
As a passer, yeah. I think because that's just a lack of weapons. Because he just had one target. I mean, outside of Joshua Simons. I mean, and then also with Rocket, Rocket Sanders had to say that they held the Missouri game. Rocket, he just didn't have that target, and I feel like had we made the playoffs, we would have got smoked. Like our defense would have kept us in there, but we would just got smoked. Like, it would have been pissed at each other, mad, like, what the hell, whatever. Could have been asked the question, where our receivers at? Where's Neek at?
But Neek was wouldn't have been tripping, because we've known all along what it was. But but again, we're banking on guys like Nick Harbor to step up. We're banking on guys like Mazio Ben to step up, Van Jacobs, Jared Brown, all of these guys that are returning back. We're banking on those guys to step up and take that next step with Lenore's and making this offense a better overall unit. So I think everything is right in front of him. Everything that kid wants is right in front of him to get to a SEC championship game, to make the playoffs, to have a chance to compete for a national title, and to be drafted number one overall, Heisman trophies, all that. It's all in front of him. Never lose.
Yeah.
It's all in front of you. You got to take it. So, with that being said, I'm Sean T. Stewart. This is A. Smith. We are the Gym Dropper Sports Podcast, and we out.